Hey, John Jones here with another edition of Tuesday Morning Coffee. Today, guys, I've got a great man with me here today, Adam Dodd, who's an attorney here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And I've gotten to know Adam over the years because he does a lot of real estate law along with a lot of other things. He also owns a great title company that we use quite a bit called Advanced Title. And if you want a good title company, it's one of the best, and it's also co-owned by two attorneys, which always comes in handy if you ever have any issues. But today I was just going to ask Adam a couple questions to help you guys out there in the public. The first question I have, Adam, is what do you see from an attorney standpoint is one of the biggest, problems or issues that people have to call you over as far as in regards to real estate law or things like that? What can you tell our public to be on guard for that's something that's prevalent that you see day to day in the business?
Okay. Hey, John, thanks for having me. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Hey, the problem that I see is people will call me, just before they're about ready to close, and they've come upon some issue that either they didn't anticipate or that they thought had been settled in their contract, and come to find out there's some ambiguity in the contract. So the biggest thing that I would say is, before you're buying and or selling, figure out the things that are important to you. Things that are important to you might not be important to me, and vice versa. So if there's a issue about the property that you feel strongly about, that you can't live without or can't do without, make sure, don't just assume that the boilerplate language takes care of it. Don't just assume that the other person's going to agree with you and do what you want them to do. Make sure that those important things are written in that contract. And if it's a complicated matter like acreage or other things like that, you might want to consult an attorney, or your agent can step you through that and get that language in there to protect whichever side you're on. But make sure that contract is clear about what's going to happen if there's a disagreement.
It always goes back to the contract, because I've called you on things before and said, Adam, what do you think about this situation? And the first thing Adam usually says is, send me, what does it say in the contract, John? What does it say in the contract? It always goes back to the contract. One question I had that was probably one of the most confusing things to me as a new agent, and probably one of the most confusing things to the public, is title insurance.
Right.
Now, we know that most banks make you have it if you get a loan, and they at least want it on the amount that's being mortgaged.
Right.
But what is title insurance, and what does it do?
Well, the first thing I would say about title insurance is you need to understand there's two types. There's owner's policies and lender's policies. Like you said, most banks, when you get a loan to purchase or refinance a home, they're going to require you to have that title insurance. So if that tells you anything about banks, and they usually take care of themselves.
They're usually covering their butt.
Right. So they always get it. Title insurance, though, so if you buy the lenders, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're covered as an owner. So if you want to have the same protection that the bank has, then you need to purchase an owner's policy. It's a little bit more expensive, but on the whole, in proportion to the cost of the lenders, which you'll have to pay anyway, it's usually not that much more. So depending on your situation, you might consider purchasing the owners on top of the lenders that the bank requires. What it does basically is, whoever the insured is, whether it's a bank or an owner or both, if sometime later after you purchase the property or close the refinance, there's some defect in the title, some easement that runs through the property that makes it unusable, some prior owner, some claim from an estate, something that affects the title to the property or becomes a lien on the property, the insurance will provide you coverage for any loss, and they also will provide you coverage for defending any claim brought by somebody that has some claim to the property. So
it covers, like if I'm an owner and I pay cash for a property, okay, and then 10 years later there's a long lost cousin of somebody who owned this property at one time comes back and says, hey, I didn't get my fair share, and there's a lawsuit, and all of a sudden I'm involved in a lawsuit, even though I had nothing to do with it, the insurance would cover my cost of defense,
right,
and if she won the lawsuit in some way, any loss that I would have had incurred.
Right.
That's awesome. That's a good deal. Adam, thanks for being on with us today. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen out there, if you ever have any reason to use a really good title company or need a good attorney, Advanced Title is the title company. Adam Dodd, attorney at law. Sharp as a tack. Went to Harvard. Did you go to Harvard or Yale Law School?
I went to both.
There you go.
I just went to both. Just to
the
get
guy's
them out of the
awesome,
way.
man. He is great, and I appreciate you being on today.
Sure, thanks,
Thanks,
John.
man.